Live breaking news, Nez Nation. We have a new docket by the Georgia Court of Appeals. They have accepted and they have set a date for the Fani Willis disqualification hearing. This is big trouble for our girl. You love her. I love her. Cash Money G. And I say that affectionately. We obviously don't love her because she's completely corrupt. If you missed our amazing interview with Amanda Timpson, who is the whistleblower in Fani Willis's office, you got to check that out. I'll leave it in the end screen, but just go to my Rumble or YouTube and you've got to check that out. The Georgia Court of Appeals has set a tentative date of October 4 to hear oral arguments in the effort to have Fulton County District Attorney Fani Cash Money G. Willis removed. Yes, you heard that right. Removed from prosecuting the election interference case against former President Donald Trump and about 18 other co-defendants. Harrison Floyd is one of them. Michael Rowan is one of them. Remember, this is all based on the pit bull, Steve Sadow, our GOAT, the absolute GOAT of criminal defense attorneys, who filed that interlocutory appeal several months back. And it was based on the language that Judge McAfee put in his ruling, where he said either Fani has to go or Nathan American Pie Wade has to go. And of course, Nathan Wade resigned within seconds and Cash Money G remained on. But the language that was in there was the odor of mendacity, meaning there was enough in that case. There was enough in that hearing that really didn't, it basically just smelled rotten in Denmark. And there was enough for the defense to appeal. And that's exactly what they did with the marksmanship and exemplariness of Steve Sadow. And now, today, Monday, June 3rd, 2024, we actually have a docket for that case. The possibility that the disqualification fight could stretch to October as well. And by the way, the Atlanta Journal actually was the first to break this story. I give them credit. The possibility that the disqualification fight could stretch to October, as well as an ongoing question about how the Supreme Court's upcoming ruling on presidential immunity could impact prosecution. Here's the big thing. Makes it extremely unlikely to go on trial for election subversion in Georgia before Election Day. Remember, everybody, my fellow Americans, Nez Nation, the entire reason this was brought up with the expeditiousness by Cash Money G, who is essentially a DEI hire, an affirmative action district attorney, as well as Letitia Big Shame James, DA Alvin Do Nothing Bragg, and Jack Criminal Smith. I mean, they're all just the entire reason that these 4 indictments have been launched by the Biden, Obama, Clinton consortium is to impede. There's no other reason, because these are all shams. They're all completely meritless. And so I guarantee you, if this doesn't, which it's like 95%, I don't want to jinx it, that this won't see a courtroom before Election Day, I guarantee you they're going to dismiss it, because the only reason they brought this up is to interfere with Trump's election campaign. That's it. I'm going to also stick around. I'm going to also tell you what Sadow's response is. Sadow responded to this huge live breaking news exclusive here in just a second. Attorneys were informed of the tentative date after the case was officially docketed Monday, with the appeals court. Briefs from the defense, in the case are due in 20 days. So they have to basically file their briefs within 20 days to make sure that this trial and this hearing, we're going to hear it all over again. Oh, and by the way, it's going to be live streamed. So you know your boy Nez is going to, I got you covered. You don't have to go anywhere else. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow. In the show notes, in the description is our free newsletter. It's free. Make sure you sign up for that. That's your sure-proof way. While the court tentatively set an oral argument day, it is not guaranteed. A party to the case has to request an oral argument, and the court then decides whether to grant that request. The panel could also decide to forego oral arguments and rule on the matter based on the filed briefs. So there is this basically what this means. If there's enough evidence, if there's enough to go off on the briefs, which are going to be highly detailed, highly sophisticated, highly evidentiary on probably both sides, especially Sadow's side, is that the actual judges, and it's a panel of 3 judges, Todd Markle, Trenton Brown, Benjamin Land. Remember, in the interlocutory appeal, it is 3 separate higher court judges, and these are the judges right here who are set to consider this case. But if the briefs have enough in there, and obviously the judges are going to go through everything that happened in the first disqualification hearing, then they could make a ruling based on that. My guess is they're definitely going to want to hear more oral arguments. Otherwise, it may look as though there's some kind of biases or they didn't do their own due diligence. I promise you, this is going to be live streamed. It's going to be huge. They're definitely going to hear oral arguments. While the case against Trump and his co-defendants is still allowed to proceed in the lower court, no trial date has been set. A spokesperson for the DA's office declined to comment. Of course, but I can't wait. Because if there's one thing we know about Cash Money G is she loves the limelight. And she would never, ever avoid an opportunity to get on camera, to speak, and pretty much incriminate herself, to pretty much pollute this entire case, pollute the entire hearing with partiality, where remember, the district attorney is supposed to not only be impartial, but not even resemble any appearance of impartiality or impropriety, which in this case, she has done the exact opposite 100-fold. Here is the statement from Sadow, the pit bull, which he posted right after this was announced. And he says in his X post, my statement as lead defense counsel for President Trump in the Fulton County GA case, quote, President Trump's interlocutory appeal was docketed today in the Georgia Court of Appeals. An oral argument is tentatively scheduled for October 4th, 2024. We look forward to presenting argument before Judges Brown, Markle, and Land on why this case should be dismissed and Fulton County DA Willis should be disqualified for the trial court's acknowledged, quote, odor of mendacity misconduct in violation of the Georgia rules of professional conduct, end quote. Mr. Sadow, we are with you. Why? Because you're on the side of right. This is so big for so many reasons, because they rushed this case. They absolutely want this to see the light of court. They have no evidence. They absolutely have no bearing. It's meritless, just as bad as Alvin Do-Nothing Bragg's case and Judge Fake Don Juan Merchan. This is so big because there has to be some balance here. We already got a terribly unjust miscarriage of justice verdict in the sham trial in New York. It is imperative that we show the American public we do still have some justice in our criminal justice system. There is still some logic and some pragmatism in our justice system. And to quote Trump's words, this is why, again, this is so important. If they can do this to the president of the United States, imagine how they could weaponize the Department of Justice against you and I. Why? Because ideologically, we oppose their views. That is not the American way. Not even close. Not by a long shot. Now, some of you have messaged me and commented and even DM'd me and emailed me and say, Nez, October 4th, that seems so far out. Why are they waiting till October 4th? This is not abnormal. I even talked to Sadow myself through a text exchange. He said this is completely normal, and that's just usually how it goes. I wished him the best of luck. He said thank you. And so it's not abnormal for these kind of proceedings to take that kind of time. I know we all want this to happen quickly, but it will be live. It will be televised. It will be live streamed. And your boy Nez has got you covered. I personally think they would not have accepted this. The Georgia Court of Appeals would not have accepted this case if they didn't think, wow, there's really something off here. And I just feel that it is just inevitable. Fani Cash Money G, we're going to kick your butt back to Fulton County and stick to actual criminal cases that matter to Fulton County residents, to Atlanta constituents, so you can actually do your job and stop trying to rob the limelight, stop trying to rob forfeiture funds, stop trying to rob taxpayers, just so you can go on vacations with Nathan American Pie Wade. I want to hear from y'all. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think she will get disqualified? Do you think she won't? Do you think finally justice will be served? Do you think that McAfee's ruling was correct? Do you think that this should see the light of court before the election, after the election? What do you think of what I said about this thing being dismissed if it doesn't? Which it's like a 90% chance it won't see a court before the election. What do you think of me saying they're going to dismiss it if it doesn't? I would love to hear from you. As always, it's literally physically impossible for me to respond to all your comments, so consider becoming a member. Also, super chats and super stickers are duly and gratefully appreciated. But consider becoming a member. It only costs you a cup of coffee a month. A cup of coffee a month, $5 a month to support our channel. All proceeds go back in the channel so I can keep giving you free content. Plus, you get access as a member to our members-only Discord, which is thriving with engaging, awesome, like-minded people, as well as a ton of other amenities. Live Q&A, badges next to your name, live stream shout-outs, preferential responses, preferred everything. So consider that. Also, if you made it this far, I got something free for you. In the pinned comment, in the description, and in the show notes is our free newsletter. It's free. All you got to do is put in your best email, and you're in. That's in the links. That's in the description. That's in the show note and the pinned comment. You got to. It is the best newsletter on planet Earth. We don't bombard you. Also, we never share your email, and we don't spam. That is not the Nez Nation way. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right now. Follow and subscribe down there. And as always, God bless you, and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.